welcome to Guitar Lessons with Mr. Ryan. I'm Mr. Ryan, and today we're going to be learning about something called chords. We're going to be learning a few chords today. We're going to be learning derivations of the A chord. Now, a chord might seem really complicated, but all a chord is a certain pattern of your fingers on what we call the fretboard of the guitar. And it's important to learning chords because you want to know where to put your fingers and when to play certain chords in certain songs. Chords can take a long time to learn, especially to memorize, but I always advise practice makes perfect, right? The more you play it, the easier it becomes and the more it soaks into your memory. So today we're going to be learning the A chord. And our chords are usually divided into a few different classes. There's usually major chords, there's usually minor chords, and there's usually something called seventh chords. And they all sound a little bit different, but they're all derivations of the A chord. So today we're going to be learning about the A chord and where to put your fingers down for the A chord. Now, don't get too worried or nervous. You're going to have plenty of time to rehearse these sorts of things, and we're not going to be doing any sorts of songs today. We're just going to be learning about the A chord and making sure to memorize and remember where to put our fingers. So I want you to take a little look at the diagram I've provided to you on the side here, and it'll show you where to put your fingers on the guitar. So we're going to go ahead and start with A major. A major is the chord you see on the top left of this diagram. It's just written as A. And the A major chord is very simple. It's just 3 fingers, all in a row, all in a straight line on the 2nd fret of your guitar. I want you to take a look at the diagram. The left side of that diagram is the top string, that's the low E. And the right side of that diagram is the high E, that's the bottom string. So imagine that diagram as your guitar's fretboard and put your fingers on that 2nd fret, in that area between the 2nd and 3rd fret. You probably won't have them in a straight line. You'll probably have them curved up in a diagonal motion like my fingers are if you want to fit them all on that fret here. But I want you to just put all your fingers down and then gently strum. And that's the A. It sounds very nice. It's a very pleasant chord, and we use that chord a lot. Every time, typically for most folk songs and things like that, we'll play a lot of A chords in succession. So I want you to just strum a little bit and play that A chord over and over and memorize where your fingers are supposed to be and get your fingers nice and comfortable on that fretboard, right? That's our simple A major chord. It's a very good chord. But now that we've got our A major down, I want you to take a look at the A minor chord. The A minor chord is very simple to the A chord. All you do is just move your index or pointer finger down to the 1st fret on that 2nd to last string that's called the B string, and then take those 2 fingers and move them to the 2nd fret of the D and G string, right? Those are basically very similar to the A chord. It's very similar. It's just 1 fret difference. You'll notice that B string, instead of being on the 2nd fret, it's on the 1st fret. You can play it like this. I'll show you an example. Here's how my fingers are on the guitar. You can see them on the fretboard. I have my index finger on that 1st fret of the 2nd to last string, and I have my middle finger and my ring finger on the 2nd fret, the 2nd frets of the D and the G strings, right? This can be pretty complicated at first, but once you get a hang of it, it's really easy. And then, well, just like with the A chord, I want you to just take your guitar pick with your hands and just strum. You'll notice this sounds a little different than the A major chord. It's got a little bit of almost like a sad or spooky sound to it. It's a little different from the A major chord. It's unique, but it still sounds a little bit like the A major chord. The next thing is very simple. It's the A seventh chord. This is a very simple chord to learn if you already know your A major and A minor chords, because it only needs 2 fingers. We only use 2 fingers for this chord. It's very simple. And just do an A chord again, but take your finger off that middle string. I actually use my index and I don't use my index. I use my middle and ring finger and just have a little gap in between. These both go on the 2nd fret, just like with our A major chord. So all I did was move my fingers. I removed my pointer finger, and I moved my ring finger 1 string down, and that's called the A seventh chord. Go ahead and play that. You'll notice it sounds different. It sounds a bit different from the A major and the A minor chord. It's a nice sounding chord. I want you to just play that over and over and over again until you get the hang of it, until your fingers are comfy and you feel you have a good grasp of this chord. So far we've learned our A major, our A minor, and we've gotten into our A seventh chord. That's really impressive. Now there's actually 3 main derivations of the 7th chord. There's a regular standard 7th chord, there's a minor 7th chord, and there's a major 7th chord, and they're all different. So we learned our standard A 7th chord. The next thing we're going to learn is our A minor 7th chord. This is a very simple chord, just like the other chords you see here. All it is we keep our fingers where they were on that A 7th. We remove the ring finger, and we just use our index finger, and we put it on the 1st fret. And there's a little gap, right? A 1 string gap, just like we saw with the A 7th, right? The only difference here is that instead of the finger being on the 2nd fret of the A 7th, it's on the 1st fret, and that's how we get an A minor 7th. So I want you to put your 2 fingers down. This is just a 2-finger chord, just like the A 7th, and just strum. Just get a nice strumming pattern. You can use your index and your middle finger, or if you feel comfortable, you can use your middle finger and your ring finger. And I want you to just strum and get a nice strumming pattern going. Whoops, dropped my pick there. That's an A minor 7th chord. It's a nice chord. It sounds very nice. You'll be using that one a lot. And last but not least, we are going to be learning about the A major 7th chord. It's a very simple chord, just like the rest. It's just like an A chord, except that middle string is going to be on the 1st fret. And I want you to play that. Here's what it looks like. Here's how I have it. I have my middle finger on the top string, my ring finger on the bottom string, and my index finger on that middle string on the 1st fret there. I find that's a comfortable way to play the A major 7th chord, and it really comes to fruition well. I want you to just strum that chord, and there we go. We've learned our basic A chords. Now there's a lot more A chords, but these are the basic ones that I've shown you today. Now the last exercise I'd like you to do is just put your fingers down on the guitar, and I want you to just go through that list. See if you can switch chords easily. This is the A major. Now we'll go to A minor. See if you can actually hear any difference in the chords. A minor. Now let's go to A 7th. We'll hear some difference, right? Now let's go from A 7th to A major 7th. And lastly, I want you to just go from A major or A minor seventh to A major seventh. And that's all there is to it. Very simple chords. See if you can play along. See if you can actually get like a rhythm. And there we have it. That's all there is to it. Now remember, there's no rush. It takes a lot of practice to be able to memorize these chords and to play them and to change your fingers. You might have to look down at your fingers a lot. Your fingers might feel a little funky, like they're not supposed to bend that way. But trust me, the more you practice, the easier it will become, the more comfortable of a time you'll have learning how to play these simple chords. So congratulations, you've learned the A chords, the basic 5 A chords. I'm glad you were able to learn these A chords, and I strongly recommend just practicing over and over again, learning how to switch your fingers between the chords, and ultimately having a better understanding of how the chords work in relation to songwriting and performance of songs. I hope you guys had a really good time today, and I encourage you as always to practice. My name is Mr. Ryan. If you're interested, please check out some of our other videos on this channel. We've got great story times and crafts, and of course, more guitar lessons with me. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.